Hey guys, it's Faye from Solar Flow and I am back with an all-new video. Today's topic is a mini behind the veil energy read into the actor and former boxer known as Mickey Rourke. So if this sounds good to you, please stick around, and if not, I will catch you at another video. Now, before we dive into the energy reading on Mickey Rourke, we're first going to start by looking into some three-dimensional information that I had acquired off of his Wikipedia page. So here we go. Mickey Rourke, born Philip Andre Mickey Rourke Jr. on September 16th, 1952, is an American actor and former professional boxer who has appeared primarily as a leading man in drama, action, and thriller films. During the 1980s, he played supporting roles and received some critical acclaim. However, in the 90s, after a string of critical and commercial failures, he left acting to become a professional boxer. After retiring from boxing, he returned back to acting, and he made a comeback in mainstream Hollywood with a leading role in a film called Sin City, and he followed that up with further critical acclaim for his role in a movie named The Wrestler. Now, for these two roles, he did receive both critical acclaim as well as nominations for awards, as well as winning some awards. Now, most notably for his role in The Wrestler, he had won a Golden Globe Award and a BAFTA Award, which is like England's version of an Academy Award. And while he was nominated for an Academy Award here in the United States, he did not win it. So that concludes the three-dimensional portion into who Mickey Rourke is. We are now going to be getting into the energy reading on him. However, before we get into it, I do want to give you a heads up that some of the subject matter that we are going to be exploring could be potentially triggering or upsetting to some viewers. This is going to be more of a dark psychological matter, but nonetheless, I feel I would be remiss if I didn't give you a heads up. So please feel free not to watch this video at all, or to pause it if you feel like you're starting to get into dark territory. Again, it's of a dark psychological nature, but I want you to be forewarned and forearmed going into this before viewing it. So here we go. Now, Mickey Rourke, who I forgot to mention, is worth an estimated $10 million. So we're gonna be getting into the energy reading portion on him now. So here we go. Mickey Rourke. As soon as I connected to his energy, he said to me, yeah, he knows he really fucked up his face, didn't he? And how many times has he seen it on other people's faces when they would look at him and they would wonder why or how? And then they would remember boxing. But then they would wonder further why he did it. Like, why ruin a perfectly good face and one that had women practically stepping out of their panties when looking at it? It's a three-dimensional industry that primarily revolves around a person's looks. He was beautiful. He was a beautiful specimen. Although I haven't seen the entire film 9.5 weeks, which is spicy, he was beautiful. So people would look at him and they would wonder, why would you go into a profession such as boxing, where there's even the potential that you're gonna ruin the face in which you earn your living from? But even if you had retired, as he did, from acting, why go into any sort of an industry that could ruin your face at all when it was a beautiful one? Because at one time, he seemed, at least through the lens of other people's eyes, to have it all. He had a gorgeous face, a burgeoning career as an actor. So where did everything go wrong? They would look at him and they would wonder. But what they did not know was that it never actually, in fact, quote unquote, went wrong, but was always, in fact, wrong. And everything he had and all the attention he received as an actor was wrong to him. It felt wrong. And he shared with me that he didn't feel as if he was worthy of it, not any of it. Not the career, not the acclaim, not the good looks, because inside he was a mess, and his external outside world did not match the inside. So he tried to fix it. But he tried to fix it by, in fact, breaking it. Because him breaking it was a reflection that he, on his insides, felt broken. So how did he choose to try to fix it, which was really breaking it? He became a nightmare to work with and was known to call a director at 2 a.m. and demand script rewrites. And he became a diva. But this was before being a diva had any sort of a positive connotation to it. Hence, he said he was a nightmare. Because how would we look at a diva? A diva, they're just fabulous. They're just fly. They just know their worth and they demand it. But Mickey Rourke had self-worth issues. He didn't know his worth, so he wasn't a diva. He was actually, in fact, a nightmare. And he shared with me that he hated the attention. He hated how desired he was by women. And he felt filthy by being desired by them, like he was a piece of meat. But in his eyes, Mickey Rourke was a rotten piece of meat. And one that would infect anyone that had him. And he hated himself. He hated all that he had. And all that he felt he knew how to do was to ruin things and to self-sabotage. Just like he took roles, either poor character choice roles, or he would accept roles in poor films. And that's why in the 90s, his career as an actor was floundering. But he was accepting those roles because that was self-sabotage on his part. Because some people would look at him and the antics that he had pulled in the 80s as this is a man that's a diva. But again, he doesn't have high self-esteem. He has shatteringly low self-esteem. So he wasn't a diva. He was breaking it. But because he was seen or perceived as a diva, even if he was difficult to work with or could be difficult to work with, he still was getting roles in films. So his self-sabotage kicked in, which was him accepting roles that essentially tanked his career. And then, after his movie career was more or less done, he was now filled with a new sense of self-loathing in which he sought to punish himself. Because now, look at what a failure he was as an actor. Because he ruined every good thing that he had ever had. So he decided to become a fighter again, because he was a trained fighter before he became an actor. But then he decided to become a professional boxer, and that provided for him an outlet for his rage. And that felt good. It felt good training to be a boxer and pummeling whatever it is that the boxers train with. And it felt good pummeling people in a boxing match. But not as good as it felt by being hit and being hurt. Because being hit and being hurt was nothing that he himself, from his own perspective, did not deserve. Because, oh yes, did he deserve it. He deserved that and so much more, according to his own self-reporting. Because, from his perspective, he was a filthy, vile, worthless vermin, and he was finally being punished for what he was. And when he looked in the mirror after becoming a professional boxer, when he looked in the mirror at his broken face and the badly damaged one, he finally felt good about himself, because he felt like finally the outside matched the inside. Finally, he felt like himself. Broken. Like the monster he believed himself to be was in fact real. And now he had the physical evidence of it when he would look in the mirror at his once beautiful face that was now broken. But Hollywood, the only beast that, according to Mickey Rourke, is more vile than himself, came knocking again. And he really has no idea why he accepted those roles. And the only explanation he can come to is it must have just been boredom. But anyway, he took those roles. He's referencing the roles in Sin City and The Wrestler. He took those roles. And everyone was talking about him again. And suddenly, he was a thing again. And then the next thing he knew, he was nominated for awards and winning them? He couldn't believe it. Why? Why was he winning these? Like, why? Why him? Why was he winning these awards? Could nobody see what a monster he was? Why? Why was he getting rewarded for being a monster? And then he would ask himself, why did he have to go to these stupid events and talk to these stupid people about his stupid role in a stupid movie? Tell us how you really feel, Mickey. It was all such nonsense, and he just wanted to be left alone. And he shared with me at that time, he prayed to whatever God there may or may not be, that he would not win. And I was kind of intrigued. I was like, Mickey, why are you saying whatever God there may or may not be? And he told me it was because if there was a God, where was that God when he was observing his mother being beaten by his stepfather? And where was that God when he himself was being abused by that same stepfather? So that's why he said, whatever God there may or may not have been, because where was that God for him when he needed it? And he shared with me that he cursed. By the way, just to go back for a second, maybe now understanding the abuse he had seen both his mother endure and the abuse that he himself has endured can explain why he felt like a monster. Because through the lens of his own mind, why else would he have been abused if not for him being the filthy, vile, worthless vermin and a monster? And he shared with me that he cursed when he won one golden idol. These are his words, not mine. What's the golden idol he's referring to? The Golden Globe Award, which is in fact gold. He cursed when he won one golden idol, but was relieved when he had lost the other, as in the Academy Award. And now he is mostly relieved to more or less be left alone, except for the occasions when he does accept a rare movie role here and there. But he is mostly relieved to be left alone and to live in the dark and to be the beast that he always was, but never seemed to have been seen for. This concludes the mini energy read into Mickey Rourke. I hope that you have enjoyed it, perhaps found it to be insightful and thought-provoking. And I remind you to please take what resonates and to leave the rest behind. And as always, and until next time, to stay in the high vibration.